Hey guys, so it's my first time doing a voiceover of how I color using Clip Studio Paint. I've got a lot of comments in the past asking how I make the sci-fi, cyberpunk and neon effects with my art. So I'm just going to show the entire process from the beginning of coloring to the final rendering. First thing, I have my sketch here. So before I start with any of the filling in the shapes and stuff, I'll make a base layer below the sketch and I'll fill it with a dull blue color. So I like to start with a muted color so that I can add on more depth later on. It just sets a neutral tone for the background. So here I have a muted blue gray kind of color. Let me make it a little bit blue. Yeah. So it just sets the overall mood as well as the medium base for building colors on the top and the bottom. First, I'm going to do the back, where the building is going down. So this is actually a 5-point perspective piece. I might have to edit the perspective out a bit, but I'm going to start with this part. So it's going deep, so it's going to be darker as the shadows. And here's a small tip: if you're using I sketched it with a pencil tool, so the lines are not sharp. So I like my area scaling to be 10, and if I just want to go over it once more with the area, it just fills in the underneath the pencils better, so it just goes underneath that, so you're not left with any white spaces later. Another thing, I like this paint unfilled area brush, so just go there and just swipe on top of the areas, and just the program will know where to fill the color. Fill in the other sides of the buildings. Okay, so that's fine. And now I'll just make a new layer and just color the subject in. So I'll just take I'm just working with the same palette, so it's all going to later on I can just edit the colors if I want to. And I have my sketch layer here. I'll set that to a reference layer below it so that the bucket tool understands the lines better, and I'll set this refer only to editing layer to refer other layers. And now that will work like this. So I don't want it that light. Let me just change the color. Okay, not that much. Go this much is fine. Make that a bit darker. And make this part, I think I'll make that inside a little darker. Okay. And he's sitting inside a car, so that's going to be darkest inside of the car. I'm going to have to do some gradients here, just give that a depth effect. Have that, and then I'm going to make the car a silver tone, so just going to do that on a new layer and just fill in the car. I'm just going to fill it with one color for now and decide the details later. So right now I'm just color blocking all the important shapes in separate layers. So yeah, his skin and face is remaining, so I don't really do this part in the grayscale because that just makes it look muted later on. So I just choosing a skin color right now and just doing that and just fill in the area. If there's little gaps between his hair, I use that paint unfilled area brush and just go over that, and that just helps with that. His ears as well. This doesn't have hands here, but okay, I'll fill that in. Because a little bit of his hands are showing here, so just going to fill that, and then going to fill his hair in. His hair, I'm just going to make it a deep gray for now. Just fill it in. Use the unfilled area brush and go in there. I have to erase some of these parts. And I'll go back in. And I'll use the Milli pen. This is like a rounded pen that just fills with highest density that it can. So that's just good for like filling in the blanks. Yeah, so that's fine. Just fix that. Maybe fix his suit here. Going in with the Milli pen again and tidying it up a bit with my color blocking before I go on to the next step. Now that the color blocking is done, on top of the sketch layer, I'll make a multiplier layer mode, and just, I like to use the marker brush, so it's in the marker and the last one, the flat marker. And I take like a little bit purplish hue and just go in to like the immediate like shadows of the area. So like under his neck, around the jacket. Then like his clothes here. Okay, and then a bit of this, the back side of his hand. It's like facing inside. Okay, the creasings right there, maybe some creasings here. Lightly, just going with that. And here. Like just going in with like the shadows of the clothes as well. Then I'll just like take the skin color, make that a little bit reddish and like muted bit, and just go on the sides, so it's like this orangey brown color, and just go on the sides of his face to make it, give it more depth. Okay, like under the eyes as well, it's just like the eyes look more rounded, and on the lips, and a little bit on the nose, and around the neck. Okay, and then I just want to like blend that in with the blend brush. So just makes a smooth like skin texture. Later on, if I need more like complex lighting scenarios, I will do that with like another like layer mode, such as like color dodge or add. So right now I'm just doing like the basic shading. Then I'll go to my background layer. So you can see like the foreground is like kind of separated. We need to like create like a depth to make it like feel separate from the background. So I'll just go here, make a multiply layer, yeah, and use the airbrush tool and just airbrush that in. Lower the opacity a bit, and that's fine. I'll make a new layer on top of our multiply layer. That will be for like our rendering and stuff. But then before that, I'll go back to our color block layers. I'll use the alpha lock tool that's right there, and that just like locks in the pixels of that current layer, so that when you color on it, it will just stay in the area that you've already colored on. So I'll use my same marker brush. I might change the angle of this a bit so it's like 180. That should work. 0. Yeah, it's fine. And just like make some highlights there using a lighter color. Just building like the 3D aspect of this. Depending on your stylization, you could make it as flat or as 3D as you want. I just like a nice like middle ground between the two. So there is some like depth and not too flat. And again, that just matters on your style. if you're going to like a full like 3D like roll-up style rendering or a manga style like flat cell shading. Blend this part a bit. It's looking like a shiny suit right now, and that's what we wanted. Go on with like an airbrush and go to like this like outline of the shirt and just like brush that in with like a lighter color. This makes it just a little more 3DS before I just move on to the next step. Okay, I like the rim lighting there. Okay, that's fine. Just go on there. Use the blend tool, blend that out a bit, and that's fine. I think I'll go into black and fill this part in a bit more. I don't really bother with the corners that much because that's inside the car, so we don't really want it showing that much. We want like work with our like perspective of this scene. So I'm just like darkening this entire spot. Okay, that's looking better. See how it looks. Yeah, I think I keep this layer on 100 and wait, I want to like blend this part out a bit too. And erase. And then blend again. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'll work on his face a bit more now, so I'll go back to the layer his face was colored on, and I'll go to the airbrush tool, go with like a maroon type of red, and just fill in like his lips a bit. Forgot about that. And his eyes. Add some more white here. I want to like render his face first. I like rendering the face first because get more confidence to like finish the rest of the piece. So yeah, face is tilted a bit, but that was on purpose. For rendering face, on CSP I like the default brush called gloss. It's like it mimics the real gloss like paint texture, but it's like solid enough and blends well, so I like it. While rendering the face, I like to have a like reference picture of the face person I'm drawing open so that it doesn't like deters too much from the resemblance of the person. But in all honesty, I don't actually care about how much like it resembles a person. Just like maybe like at least 10% is enough for me. Because like focusing too much on resemblance kind of like draws away from the fun of actually painting. So that's why I always like tell others that don't always focus or get sad if the person, it doesn't really look like the person you're drawing, because we're ultimately drawing for fun. Okay, so it's the nose. Doing out his nose. During my like first time of like doing digital art, I kind of like avoided the noses while finding a style. Because if noses were not looking nice, then I just like avoided that altogether. But it's kind of fine now. Gloss tool, draw the two nostrils. And And that's how I make a nose in this day and age. We go in with like a lighter color and draw the highlights. Okay, I'll go with like the airbrush tool and just like define his face a bit more. Okay, now let's work on his eyes. Try by flipping the canvas and see. Okay, I can see everything now. And we're gonna fix that. His hair was like a blonde in this era, so I'll go back to the base layer and change his hair color entirely. I can do that by going to tonal correction, use saturation luminosity, and just change the hue. Okay, first adjust the luminosity and then pick a blonde color. This is fine. Okay, not that, not this. This is fine. Now I have the blonde color. I'll just go back to my layer here. Quality is such a big difference here. Wow. Now I'll just go into the highlight color and a bit brighter.